Welcome to the Slut Next Door podcast, where we dive deep into desire, unravel kinks and fetishes, and explore the deliciously naughty side of self-discovery. I'm Beatrix Vale, an erotic audio creator, and your guide to all things kinky and curious. So let's begin. Welcome back to the Slut Next Door, the podcast that peeks behind the curtain of erotic exploration, taboo desires, and the beautiful messiness of human sexuality. And today, we're diving into a kink that's cheeky, controversial, and surprisingly misunderstood. And that is small penis humiliation, or oftentimes shortened down to SPH. Now, whether you're hearing about SPH for the first time or it's a favorite fantasy and kink of yours, this episode is going to give you the full story. I'm going to break down what small penis humiliation is, unpack the psychology behind why it turns people on, and I'll be giving a live audio demonstration at the end. Now, before we dive in, if you enjoy this kind of deep, dirty, and often thoughtful content, don't forget to check the link in the episode description. And that's where you're going to find all of my hypno files, my femdom files, custom content, and ways to connect with me one-on-one. And if you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what turns you on, what you want more of, or even just say hello. I do read every single one of them. It means the world to me, and it helps more people find my podcast. So, with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. This episode is for if you're just simply curious about it and want to hear me talk about it, or if you're truly into this naughty little kink, settle in and let's get into it. So, small penis humiliation is a kink that falls under the broader kind of umbrella of erotic humiliation. At its core, it's a consensual erotic game, if you will, where someone, usually a dominant woman, teases, mocks, puts down a man's penis size in a way that's meant to turn him on. And I want to put an emphasis on consensual because no matter how mean or degrading the language may sound, it's all part of a mutually agreed fantasy that's designed to heighten arousal through power exchange, vulnerability, and taboo. Small penis humiliation can be soft and playful, like calling it cute and tiny, or it can be extremely cruel and humiliating using harsh language, comparisons, even throwing in some public shame fantasies into it. Some love being called things like pathetic, useless, or beta. Others enjoy the fantasy of just being rejected, ignored, or even laughed at. And this kink often shows up in other fantasies too, like sissification, cuckolding, even gooning, even Mommy-Domme play. It's very versatile, personal, and deeply psychological. And despite what it might sound like, SPH isn't always about actual penis size. Many listeners who enjoy small penis humiliation don't have a small penis, but they crave the feeling of being exposed, teased, and put in their place, getting that ego deflated. It's all about erotic shame and we're going to get into the psychology of it now. So, at first glance, you might be thinking it seems strange. I mean, why would someone want to be insulted, embarrassed, or made to feel less than? But the truth is, erotic humiliation and small penis humiliation in particular has deep rooted psychological roots that go way beyond the surface. So, for some, small penis humiliation is about submission. Being humiliated by a dominant partner just reinforces the power dynamic for them because it says, you're in charge, I'm beneath you. And that loss of control can be truly intoxicating. And it also creates an intense vulnerability, one that feels safe because it's happening in a controlled, consensual space. And then there's eroticized shame. So many people carry insecurities about their body, especially around penis size. You guys have a lot of your masculinity tied to your penis. You know, you're expected to have it be big and huge and powerful. So, small penis humiliation flips that script. So, instead of hiding the insecurity, it's brought into the open and transformed into something arousing. And the thing that was once a source of embarrassment or insecurity becomes part of the fantasy. It's like owning the shame. Back when I did a lot of phone sex, I heard this story more than once when I would come across people that were into small penis humiliation. They would often bring up the story of being back in high school, changing in the locker room for PE or sports or whatever, and looking around and just seeing their peers' penises and being like, oh my gosh, mine doesn't look like that. It's so much smaller. And so that, I think that feeling just carries into this eroticized shame that has lived with them for years upon years, decades even. And then this makes me think of men that I have played with in an erotic setting who actually do have smaller penises. And that can be a super depressing feeling, I would imagine, for a man to know that he has a pretty small penis. And I feel like small penis humiliation gives someone who their kinks align with this and they have the small penis, it gives them a chance where a woman is actually going to give their small penis a lot of attention, where outside of small penis humiliation, it's not getting any attention because it's so small. So it's kind of like, I guess, just taking power back, owning their vulnerability. Small penis humiliation can also activate feelings of worthlessness or rejection that, when eroticized, that becomes very powerful. So, for men who struggle with dominance expectations in daily life, meaning during their work week, they are very dominant, in control men, being told they're small, inadequate, or forgettable can actually become a turn on because it releases them from the pressure to perform, to be quote unquote man enough, or to take the lead. And then there's the thrill of the contrast. Like if someone spends their day being respected, in control, the act of being degraded in an erotic context can be wildly liberating. It's like a psychological flip that intensifies arousal. And here's the secret, especially in my experience: men who crave small penis humiliation are not broken at all. Some aren't even insecure about their penis size. They're more so sexually self aware, and they've found a way to take something taboo or vulnerable and make it hot. So, whether SPH feels like a release, a punishment, a surrender, or a thrill, it's, I would say, rooted in very deep, messy, beautiful layers of human desire. So now that we've explored what small penis humiliation is and the psychology behind it, it's time for a little show and tell. In this final segment, I'm going to give you 3 different live demonstrations of small penis humiliation, each one reflecting a different style and tone. Because just like any kink, SPH isn't one dimensional because it can be soft and nurturing, sharp and cruel, or more playful and bratty. So the language may shift, but the effect is always the same: power, surrender, and that delicious ache for the person receiving this SPH. So after each demonstration, I'll break down the tone, intention, and psychological flavor of what you just heard so you can better understand what style of SPH hits your buttons. Or if you're just curious listening to this, you'll be able to experience the different tones that this kink can bring. So, first, we're going to explore the Mommy-Domme style of small penis humiliation. This is going to be all about blending that nurturing energy, yet a playful and firm tone, because mommy knows exactly how to make you feel safe, even as she teases you in the most deliciously humbling way. So, let's give you a little taste of what it's like when mommy takes charge. Oh, look at you. Such a sweet boy. Coming to mommy with that tiny little dick. But don't worry, baby. Mommy's here to help you feel so good about being such a good boy. I mean, your little peepee is just the right size. For mommy's amusement, that is. It's so cute how you think you can please mommy with that. But don't worry. Don't you worry. Mommy loves you just the way you are, especially when you're being such a good boy, taking your humiliation like this. Because mommy knows it's hard to admit, but you're just not built like other men, are you? Right. And that's okay, baby. Mommy's going to take care of you, even if you cannot take care of mommy the way a real man would. But who needs that when you're so good at being mommy's good little toy? It's so pathetic, but yet it's so perfect. Oh, baby, don't be sad. Mommy's here to make it all better. Now, that style of small penis humiliation combines nurturing and dominance, creating a dynamic where the submissive feels both cared for and controlled, yet also humiliated. So the mommy dom style often will incorporate a little playful teasing while reinforcing the power imbalance. And the goal is to create a sense of safety and comfort, even as the humiliation deepens. So it's all about balancing the gentle, loving tone of mommy dom with the undeniable authority of a dominant. So the focus was on making the submissive feel like a good boy for accepting their role and the humiliation. And it was less about the cruelness of it, or it was more about that tender, firm guidance. So, this approach can be especially appealing to those who enjoy the psychological aspect of small penis humiliation, but also the emotional connection that it creates. So, now let's take a sharp turn into the world of the humiliatrix. So, this style is for those who crave raw, unfiltered pain of humiliation. No coddling, no nurturing, just cold, hard truth. So, prepare yourself because this is about to be stripped down degradation, pure and simple. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I mean, look at that ridiculous excuse for a cock. Do you think that's even worth acknowledging? It's a joke, a meaningless little stump that could never satisfy a real woman, even if it tried. And trust me, it would never. I mean, you're a laughing stock, a sterile, useless little creature who can't even get it right where it matters most. That's why you're here, isn't it? Because deep down, you know you're worthless. You know you're nothing. And now everyone else gets to see it too. I mean, that little shrimp dick is a disaster. It's a humiliation to just look at it. I mean, how do you even have the nerve to call yourself a man when you can't even produce something worth respect? That pitiful, shriveled up little thing, it's an embarrassment, a travesty, a monument to your inadequacy. You are not even a real man. You're a failed experiment, a weak, spineless, pathetic excuse for a human being. And that shrimp dick of yours, it's the ultimate symbol of your failure. You should be ashamed. Ashamed to exist. Ashamed to even breathe the same air as someone like me. Now, the humiliatrix style of small penis humiliation is all about that raw, unapologetic domination. So, this approach strips away any nurturing or playfulness and leaves only pure, unfiltered humiliation. So, the goal in this style is complete psychological annihilation, like popping that ego balloon and taking all of the air out of it and more, making the submissive feel completely worthless and insignificant. And so, in this style, the dominant takes on a role of a merciless superior, usually a very condescending language to reinforce the submissive feelings of inadequacy. And unlike the Mommy-Domme style, there's no comfort or caretaking. It's just cold, hard degradation. This approach is appealing to some people, and that might surprise some of you. Um, it's for those who enjoy extreme submission and the thrill of being completely overpowered. It's about experiencing the intensity of pure humiliation without any cushioning or softness. And like I said, for some, the sting of that kind of degradation can be incredibly arousing, pushing them towards extreme bliss and pleasure. And now let's lighten things up with the playful, teasing side of small penis humiliation. So, this style is going to be all about having fun with the humiliation, using humor, lighthearted banter to create that delicious sting. So here we go. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's, mm, it's actually kind of adorable. Yes, it looks like a little pink eraser nib, like on the end of a pencil. Do you really think that's going to do anything for me? Sweethearts, that's not even a warm up. It's like comparing a tricycle to a race car. But you know what? I kind of love it. It's so you. So perfectly, adorably inadequate. Like someone who still thinks they're a big deal. How cute. You probably strut around like a peacock, don't you? Oh, with that itsy bitsy teeny weeny micro dick. Let me guess. Let me guess. You've always waved that thing around, thinking you were the man, and now here you are, still swinging it, still begging for attention. But let me tell you a secret: no one is fooled, not even a little bit. But hey, don't be sad. Don't be sad. I still love you. And who knows? I mean, maybe I'll let you be my pocket-sized plaything. You can be the novelty in my collection. The one that I pull out when I want a good laugh. Because really, what else is that thing good for? Now, the playful and teasing style of small penis humiliation is all about using that humor and lighthearted banter to create more of like a fun, engaging dynamic. This approach focuses on making the experience enjoyable while still delivering that delightful sting of humiliation. Kind of like a game where the submissive gets to actively participate in their own teasing. In this style, I like to use those witty remarks, teasing comparisons, and playful mockery. And the goal is to make the whole thing kind of feel lighthearted, while also keeping it a bit flirtatious. But then you still have the stings and the humiliation, of course. And I think the more teasing, playful side of small penis humiliation is perfect for those who enjoy the psychological play of SPH, but prefer it with, a little bit more playful, teasing, light-hearted atmosphere. And lastly, I'm going to give you the reasons why I love giving, doling out small penis humiliation. The first time, I can remember the first time that I ever did it, and I was drunk on the power of it and why I continue doing Dom things because I get addicted to the empowerment. And I recognized in myself I have a slightly sadistic side, especially when it comes to men. And we can psychologically unpack that, or rather, I can on my own. But I really do love smashing men's egos. It's, I really think it's the thrill of the forbidden and a bit taboo, if you will, because you know, men, I've spent a lot of time in my life, early stages of my life, putting men on pedestals. And in my stage of my life now, I'm on the pedestal and that feels really, really good. And so when I can flip the script and be the masculine energy, but also, it is masculine energy, but it's also feels so fucking feminine. Like it feels like the highest form of feminine power whenever I am doing Dom things like small penis humiliation. So it's the empowerment for me. It is the taboo of it. And it really is fun. So I think people think that I probably get tons of dick pics all the time, and I actually don't. Um, I think when I think when you establish yourself as a dom, generally the people coming to you aren't going to do that. But I have spent some time in my life looking at dick pics, being forced to look at them because they people send them to me. And I've never looked at a dick picture and thought, "Oh my god, it's so sexy." Like, even the biggest, thickest dick that I find beautiful, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, this is going in the spank bank." I When I look at dick pics, it's more like very clinical and there's some curiosity there too. So when I'm able to look at small penises, it is extremely entertaining to look at small dicks. It's extremely entertaining. And then when I have permission to, degrade it for being so small, it's fun. And so yeah, I personally love small penis humiliation. And then in the same hand, when the man isn't small, when he has a pretty average dick, or I've even done it when they have a larger dick. That's even more fun. That's even more taboo. Making their perfectly fine penis feel like it's way too small. Just super fun. I think it all boils down for me to, ruining men's egos is something that mentally really turns me on. So I do love some small penis humiliation. There will always be a lovely place in my heart um, for this kink. And another little fun story that I have, when I first started doing, role plays and really putting on that dom hat, it was it was different. It felt different to turn on the humiliatrix, but it felt good. And I wanted to be good at it. And so I started picturing exes of mine that had ever wronged me, or that I still felt some certain ways about them. And I still do it to this day. If I have to really dig into someone and really degrade and humiliate, I love to think about my exes and pretend I'm talking to them. And it feels really good. It's therapeutic. Um, yeah, so yeah, love me some small penis humiliation. So now you know, small penis humiliation isn't just about size, it's about surrender, vulnerability, and the erotic thrill of being exposed, whether it's wrapped in mommy's soft voice, delivered with a cruel laugh, or teased with a playful smirk. Small penis humiliation offers something powerful, a chance to turn your shame into pleasure. And there's no right way to enjoy this kink. What matters is that it is consensual, intentional, and hot for you. So, if one of these styles made you twitch, if your brain is still buzzing from the way I got inside of your head, you might just be craving a little more. And you should know where to find me. Click that link in the bio if you don't know where to find me. And I will absolutely love to tease your cute little penis some more. And if you love this episode, leave a rating, share it with a fellow perv, subscribe, comment, like it, interact with the episode because I do love doing these and I want to continue spreading the they love for kink all around the world. So until next time, stay curious and remember, sometimes being small can feel so big when it's in the right hands. And that's a wrap for this episode of The Slut Next Door, where we dive deep into the raw, unapologetic truths of human desire. If you loved what you heard today, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a juicy moment. Want to connect with me outside the podcast? Click the link in my bio where you can find lots of juicy content and options. Until next time, I'm Beatrix Vale, your Slut Next Door, and I'll see you in the next episode.